Rivers State Sole Administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibok-Ete Ibas has suspended political appointees and office holders in the state with immediate effect. A statement by the Chief of Staff to the Administrator said the decision was made under the powers granted to Ibas by President Bola Tinubu, and those affected include the Secretary to the State Government, the Chief of Staff, all commissioners, as well as chairpersons and members of boards, agencies, commissions, and parastatals, including all special advisors, special assistants, and senior special assistants. This is coming after Ibas was sworn in as sole administrator on Wednesday, March 19th by President Bola Tinubu after the president declared a state of emergency in Rivers State, while President also suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara, his deputy Ngozi Odu, and all elected members of the Rivers State House of Assembly for an initial period of 6 months. Ibas, who is a former chief of naval staff, vowed to maintain law and order in the state and also promised to work together with other stakeholders to ensure that order is restored in the state. For your charge before we began the report said the weekend is long, so people that are in people that are in agreement or disagreement of the state of emergency,
they should go and take a chill pill.
They should take a chill pill. What are your thoughts on this report?
Yes, I think Ibas is right in the declaration he has made. It is very apt, and it is very necessary for him to have made those clarifications. You know that Nigerians like power so much. Any little corner they give you a little opportunity to lead people. You begin to use it overbearingly, to either show people that you have arrived, or you now use it to subjugate, so to say, dissenting voices, where you know that in any setting, the majority always have their way, and the minorities will also have their say. So, and when one is appointed to lead from any corner at all, any position, you're expected that both, so to say, those who are in agreement with you and those who are not are under your care. So, but in Nigeria, the reverse is always the case, where people use little positions given to them to outmuzzle others. So you will not take it away from some of the appointees of the suspended governor of Rivers State that if these clarifications are not made, they could be using their positions to perpetuate one goodwill or crime, as the case may be. Because people will be, I heard that those 23 men that held, that were overseeing the local governments before the Supreme Court nullified it, saying that they are former chairmen. I heard that one said that he's a former mayor of Port Harcourt City. It is not. The law is clear and it is sacrosanct. Celestin Umeha cannot parade himself in the committee of the Nigerian Airlines as a former governor of Rivers State. He cannot. Somebody can even take him to court for impersonation and trying to deceive the unsuspecting public. So it applies to those guys that held the position of the event that happened on the 5th of October 2024, when they said that local government elections were conducted in Rivers State. Right. The Supreme Court has declared it null and void. That means in the eyes of the law, in the Nigerian history, it never existed. That is what it means. In the history, in the annals of the Nigerian history and the Port Harcourt State as an entity, they never came to office. That event never happened. When something is declared null and void, it means that even the name, just like, let me give a quick example. In the Catholic Church, there are some offices that are reserved, the very reverend is reserved for specific offices, like a rector of an institute, a chancellor, or a counselor to the bishop or to the college of those who pretend over a given diocese with the bishop, or there is a specific office that a bishop is giving you, that very is now reserved for you. But as soon as you exit that particular post, you remove the very. You cannot be answering former very reverend father. No. And this is sanity. And this is how it ought to be. That someone is a rector of an institute in the Catholic Church, is very reverend father doctor or very reverend father this. Immediately you exit or your tenure elapses on that position you are holding, the very is removed. Yes. But in this case, we have people, the Supreme Court of Nigeria have said that an event happened, and in the eyes of the law, it did not happen. And you are parading yourself as a former. So I'm using it to draw you into the reason why I am in line with the pronouncement of the sole administrator of River State, Ibok-Ete Ibas, saying that all appointees of the the suspended governor have no place to carry out any function in whatever disguise in the name of River State government. Because if you ask me, it is still existing, especially those in agencies and boards and parastatals. We know our people. This is our people, and this is us. That a Nigerian does not allow the spoon to get off his mouth. And at a time, he finds a way around it. You find out some people who are even former honorable members. You see where they will be answering honorable as if they are still the substantive honorable members of the House of Assembly, House of Representatives, as the case may be.
Right. Now, why do you think this move is, given that Admiral Ibas has just been placed as the, sole administrator for an initial 6 months? Why do you think the declaration of, all these public office holders, stepping off completely? For many people and for many of our viewers just now, many people assume that the suspension was for the governor, the deputy governor, and the House of Assembly members, right? Why do you think now it's been extended? Or why do you think the public office holders, like you said, are being reminded that they're also part of the suspension?
Majority of them are the appendix and the stewards being appointed by the suspended governor, Seminary Fubara. So it is in that light that when the governor is being suspended and the House of Assembly being suspended and the emergency rule replaced, anything democratic setting in River State is set aside. So all appointees, all those who have been working with the governor under the democratic setting should step aside, and Ibas should take charge, because there will be conflict of interest. You saw, we were here last time we were discussing about the resignation of the head of service of River State. Did you see the reasons why he resigned? I posited here that it may not be unconnected with his sympathy to the governor. That hence the person I'm working with is showing solidarity. But forgetting that he is the most senior civil servant in River State. River's civil servants have not been paid their February allowance. Some have been owed their some other ESTA codes, the pensioners and all whatnot. And before the governor was suspended, he has given a voice and directive that the local government workers should be paid the minimum wage that the state is paying. But I heard that they are only 70,000 or so. So if he has the interest of Rivers people, Rivers workers at heart, he should have not been looking at one man. You are just subservient to one man. So if he is somebody that is a civil servant career, a career civil servant could, resign his appointment, being sympathetic to a governor that did not even employ him in the civil service. He's not an appointee of the governor.
Right.
He's not a political office holder. But you could see how gullible our people are. They just to show solidarity. And don't be surprised that when these suspensions are over, his name may reappear as somebody who will come as a commissioner. You can take it to the bank. See, what people do is selfishness, self-centeredness. That is what we see in Nigeria. What is the need for a civil servant in that cadre? The most senior civil servant in Rivers State resigning because you are working under a governor who didn't even give you an appointment letter, who did not employ you, who was not even in the picture of granting you the promotions. But in order to show solidarity, you now jettison the feelings and the bulk of the work under your purview. Most of them don't know the weight and the clout their offices carry. Because if they do, you would have known that, if not in the sense that this state of emergency is coming from the presidency, he should have been the person in line. You could see how he was moving hand in hand with... because he is assumed as being the deputy. He's the person that Ibas should ask any question concerning the state. So he did not understand the enormity and the weight his office carried. If he did, he would have known that he is not subservient to any particular one man in Rivers State. So that brings me to what the line of thought I was doing before, that if you don't remind the public, the sole administrator is not making this announcement or proclamation because those appointees don't know that they should exit their offices or cease to function. Right. But you know that those in agencies and parastatals will still see themselves that they were not affected, forgetting that they are politically appointed into those positions. And the person that brought them into those positions was a democratically elected governor, and who had the prerogative of making those appointments, or some of them passing through the House of Assembly for clearance. They thought it was only the executive cabinet that should exit. So tongues might be wagging, the ship might not be so steady for a bus to operate. So, and for the general public not to be deceived and swindled into making dealings, especially those who are coming into Rivers State. Like you're saying now that those who are appointed to take charge of the internally generated revenue, or those who have something to do with the business that are coming into the state, and they will be, for the fact that Ibas is the head, those of them who are subservient to the suspended governor, the office secrets and the government day-to-day activities will be in the purview of the suspended governor. So it is apt, it is in line with his mandate as the sole administrator, because he is the sole, he is the A and M of this particular emergency rule. So other people he's appointing is, for one man cannot be everywhere at the same time. Right. He needs people to report to him. But I want to bring to his notice that let him look into the touting in Rivers State. Let him look into those task force in Rivers State, especially in the Port Harcourt metropolis, to make sure that he looks into there and make sure that sanity returns, at least even if it's within these 6 months, because we know that all those touting and all those collecting money here and there are the way those political exposed persons, especially the governors and his cronies, settle those who help them in winning election and where they form their structures. Yes. Hence they cannot pay them every month. They use those subtle ways, harassing the people. There is no uniformity in the payment or whatever in Rivers State. Everywhere you see, there is a motor park. Everywhere you see is a market. Everywhere you see, the people are wearing blue and white today. Tomorrow, people are wearing green and white. In the name of somebody gives you a paper today.
We've always had tax force in Rivers State.
No, but it's not streamlined. It is not streamlined. How can somebody give you a paper for paying for your shop? You know, where your business premises, another person comes with another paper for you to pay for. No, listen now. Listen what I'm saying. I said it's not streamlined. Allow me to explain the streamlination I'm talking about.
Okay.
Somebody brings a paper for you to pay for business premises. Okay. Another person brings that this is River State waste disposal emergency waiting. I ask you to pay for waste paper basket.
Okay.
Another person comes tomorrow and brings a black line on. That this is where you now put anything that is all the refuse that is generated within your premises into this. So another person comes and tells you that this your signpost displaying your business name. This is what you have to pay because it is bigger. It is what are we in a chaotic society? Somebody is checking you for your motor papers are not complete. Other person is checking for how you mended your seat and your tire is deflected. Somebody is checking where you're parking and the other person is checking where you are loading. Somebody is also waiting for you where you're going to alert. Somebody is checking where you're going to park your car without giving you a specific and clear direction. It is happening here. We move around the town. We are not aliens in Port Harcourt City. So those things we know that those politically exposed persons, this is how they use in subtly settling their men, so to say, and expanding their tentacles. But for what Ibas has done, he has made it clear that he has come to restore peace. But let me, before Rivers people will start calling him out, retired Rear Admiral Ibas is not in Rivers State to begin to form a committee to call Wika and Fobra and House of Assembly members. He is here to steady the ship for now. Then while the warring parties go and sort themselves out, now they are cooling off. Now those people that they normally give money to go and make phone calls in all the radio stations has reduced. Those who are simplified and those who are weakenized. And who are for Amehule. Everybody now is going to their cocoons. You understand? It is those of us that have been saying the governor do the right thing. The governor, this thing will not favor you. You have no need to make trouble with somebody who has nothing to lose. That's what they told us in the seminary. That you have nobody. When you are a seminarian, you know that your vocation is in the hands of a priest. Your formators, whether you like it or not, God will not come down to ordain you. Fubara would have not gotten to be executive governor of Rivers State if not through the instrumentality of Wike. When the former governor of Vice State came here, the one in the Senate, he came here. Is it Dixon? Saraki Dixon came here. He said, "Do not forget the instrument through which he rose to power." What is that instrument? You don't climb up and begin to push the ladder out so that other people will not climb.
So now,
this is what we are saying, so that when Riverside people will be calling Ibas now, how have you made peace? And we are not saying you're calling Wike, and that is not his business. His business is to administer, to make sure the state is under control, law and order are maintained, workers are paid. He looks at the day-to-day running affairs of governance of Rivers State to make sure that we don't have any infractions here and there. But be as it may, you will hear tomorrow that Rivers people, because perhaps if the warring parties put their ass together quickly, within 3 months we can see it over. But if they don't, Mr. President will be watching, he's getting his reports. I think now they have gone to court. If you go to court, are you giving peace a chance? You're not giving peace a chance. It has happened. It has happened.
Who has gone to court?
Serap has gone to court.
Yes.
MBA has gone to court. Seven out of the governors elected under the PDP has gone to court. It is the same thing that they are going to court on for who? For Simlaye Fobara. To return. No, listen.
But for most of these bodies like MBA, for example, they did say the reason for them going to court is because they do not think, according to that section 305, the president has the authority to suspend.
Did they read the 305 very well, if I may ask? The 305 has sub D. We say that, see, I don't know, it's not only them that are learned.
Right. Now,
you understand?
The reason they went to court is because of that section.
The section is for who to return. The governor that encourage illegality and the disobedience to the rule of law, is that the governor you are going to court for? No, I want to ask this question on a national television. The governor that a Supreme Court gave judgment and he decided to choose the one to obey. So he went on air, had a state broadcast where he asked those chairmen that were holding brief in the local governments to vacate offices and hand over. And again, when he comes to the one that tied in the interest of Rivers people first, according to his mantra, he started playing double standard. Why not wait for the CTC? Are those two cases, those two judgments, were they not delivered on the same day from the same temple of the Supreme Court justices? Were they not read with the same CTC he was waiting for? See, when we want to be thorough, let us be thorough. He who comes to equity must come with clean hands. You know, I have nothing against the governor. At least I have made some input where he listened and he did it. When it comes to the revitalization of the fire service in Rivers State, I called him out. So the governor is the person whom these people are going to court. Okay, at the end of the day, after going to court, who will be the ultimate beneficiary of the litigation?
For many of the bodies, we're talking about the longevity of democracy as opposed to more of where does this precedent of this
the way it will lead us.
Where it will lead us.
But in that 305, there is a place that was stated. That was where I was making my expose that we are all students. I did logic with my position and the school I attended. I did logic. I did logic and clear thought. I did ethics. I did all what you call logic. I did political science. I had law in my course. So we are not oblivious of what the Constitution is saying.
Right.
We are not oblivious. We did the one that's like a further mass. It is also part of logic. So logic said that you draw your premises, and from there you draw your conclusion. And you have philosophies about critical thinking. And it is also in democracy, because you know that Mr. President, he said that where the governor fails to inform the president of an imminent danger or threat to peace within his enclave. And again, Mr. President, having seen, framers of the Constitution are not daft. That's why we have all those ambiguity in the Constitution. Everything is not to be put down, because it will be more than a Bible. It will be as big as, the Oxford Dictionary. But we are rational human beings, that the president have seen that there is an immediate danger between, political war is worse than the war you fight with a gun and clocks. I'm telling you the truth. Because, assuming without conceding, what would have been of Rivers State within these last 2 weeks, if they had continued in the line they were towing? Especially when assembly members came and wrote down the sins of the governor and forwarded to him. Oga, see your sins. And your deputy is also an accomplice. That is what. So where would Rivers State have been by this time Maybe I will not have been able to find a way to come to ATN. So what we are saying is that the president, as a thinking being, as somebody who is rational, and whom the Constitution has given the power to see where there are infractions, where there is a place he said about total breakdown and law and order. And there is another place where he clearly stated that the president, having noticed or having seen there is a tendency. When we exit here, go and read it. So they don't talk about that one. That one gives you clear mandate to the president for him to rationalize, for him to see the events within the moment. Our world evolves. How it was in 1999 is not how it is. Even in 2023 is not what you are seeing now. So as the world evolves, a lot of things comes up, and it is only a rational thinking human being that can envisage. You don't wait until they say once beaten, twice shy. Why will you, because you have been once beaten, when the second is coming, you take caution.
So you think the president acted